friends, welcome back. Today we are going to be talking about Phoebe the snake. So Phoebe's a corn snake. We've had her here on the ranch for about a year. I actually got her from a teacher. She was going to be a class pet for a kindergarten classroom. And she was a little bit too young, too fast at the time, and I have a little bit of experience handling snakes and working with snakes. And so I took her in, and now she's an absolutely amazing part of the ranch. She's a lot of fun. When you're here, you can pet her, you can watch her eat. There's a lot of fun things. But first, we're going to talk a little bit about her enclosure and why we have it set up like this. You'll notice that there are blankets. We use the blankets to help trap in some heat. This top area here is all mesh so that we don't build up too much humidity. But here at the ranch over the winter, it does get quite cold at nighttime. And so we have some supplemental heat from a lamp. And then keeping a little more insulation around the tank helps keep it up at that temperature that she needs. A snake really does need about 85 degrees on one side of her tank. So we want to have a hot side and a cold side. So this would be Phoebe's hot side over here. And she has a little thermostat that we keep. And right now, see, she's a little bit low. Nothing wrong with being at 83.6. We want somewhere between 80 and 85. But that is controlling the light itself. And there's also a heating pad underneath where she's laying. You can see Phoebe right in there in her little house, her little head sticking out. And what she is just a regular corn snake, the same kind of snake you could find in the wild, but of course we got her from a pet store. It's not ideal to go grabbing snakes from the wild and then try and keep them as pets. Not only because it's unsafe, those snakes have not been, they might have parasites, they might not be the most friendly of snakes, but also because that's kind of cruel. We have domestic, already raised in captivity animals. There's no reason to go catch yourself a wild snake and stick it in a tank. Another big thing with Phoebe's tank is that she has this lock. You saw me pull this off the top. The whole tank has several ways of locking so that not only can, small children or people get in that aren't supposed to, but most importantly, Phoebe can't get out. Snakes are enormously amazing at escaping from anything. You'll think it's just the tiniest little hole and that snake will be gone in an instant. And they can hide for days and days and weeks and months. And so if you lose them out of here, if you ever find them again, you are one lucky person. Because even in a normal house, just your little, 2-bedroom house, people spend months looking for their pet snake. So if we were to lose Phoebe here on the ranch, we would probably never find her again. So we are very, very careful about keeping everything locked and secured for her. We want to make sure that her heated side of the tank stays at about 80 to 85 degrees. Particularly, that is important when she's going to be eating. They really need heat to digest. Kylie in a few minutes is going to tell us a little bit about how we're going to feed her. We're going to show you a fun little video of Phoebe eating. Don't worry about it. It's not a live mouse. You're not watching anything die. It's really actually super fun and educational and cool to watch her and how she eats. So we're going to pull her out and then we'll come back in a few moments to talk to you a little bit about how she eats. So as you can see, we have Phoebe out of her tank now, and I'm going to be holding her while Kylie tells us a little bit about digestion in a second. But first, I wanted to go over some snake handling tips. The most important thing is to support the weight of their body. As a snake ages, they get a little bit better at not just falling off of your arm. But one of the reasons she wasn't working out as a classroom pet was that she was small enough that as the kids would hold her, she would just slither right off of them. And unless you're holding them the right way, she doesn't realize that she's just going to fall on the ground. So you'll notice I have a hold of some of the larger part of her body down here, and she has a hold of me. Her head, I try not to bother too much. I might kind of turn it back in a direction, like if she wants to go up my sleeve right now. We might say, no, I do not need you in my shirt, and turn her head, but you never want to grab or pinch anywhere up near the head. You'll see that commonly with people handling wild snakes or dangerous snakes. With a pet snake like this, she's not going to try and bite me. I shouldn't be trying to absolutely hold her head super still, because that's going to make her more concerned about me. We want her to be happy and wanting to explore when she's out with us and getting to see the outside world. Something to consider is the temperature. It's a little bit chilly out right now, but having her out for a little while when she's not trying to digest like right now, and especially having my body heat to warm her up, is perfect. She's not too cold, she's not too hot. This is a lot of fun for her. I wouldn't go and hold her near any animals that might be a predator to her. That would make her very nervous, like a dog or a cat or birds flying around. Sometimes she gets a little bit nervous. But right now it's a really great day out here. No animals are around other than the horses, I think, are way back there that might be bothering her. Another thing you can see is her scales. So Phoebe is actually a normal color patterned corn snake, and you can see the underside of her belly that look a little bit like corn, more like the corn you would see at a fall festival, maybe not the sweet corn that we're used to eating. But that's why they're called corn snakes. Her pattern is normal. There are also snakes that they have bred selectively for, are you going up my sleeve? That they've bred selectively for being albino or being almost pure white. They call them snows. They have ones with cooler checkered or striped patterns. There's a lot of different cool varieties of snake that you can get if you look in the right places, find a cool breeder, and you can get yourself a really amazing snake. She's actually tying herself in a knot right now. I don't know if you can see that. And the good news is she can't hurt me. She could squeeze as much as she wants. She's not going to be able to, you know, cut my arm off at the wrist or anything crazy. But this is a really good way of telling, hey, she feels comfortable. She's searching around. She's not in a position to strike. If she were to pull her head back and, you know, look at me really concerned, I would know that she's thinking I might be harming her or attempting to harm her, and she's not. She's very comfortable. You can see her tongue. You see it flicking out of her mouth a little bit. That's actually how snakes smell, if you can call it that. That's how they test the environment that they're around and search for mice or other kinds of prey that they might want to be eating. In the wild, they might eat baby birds. Some snakes will even eat eggs. But Phoebe is fed exclusively mice. And I'm going to have Kylie here, who's been doing an amazing job taking care of Phoebe for the past year, tell you guys a little bit more about what she eats and how she eats.
Yeah, so like Ashley said, she does eat already dead mice. We get them frozen and they live in our freezer, and we'll pull them out the day that we're going to feed her, and we let them thaw, and then we'll sit them under the heat lamp that you saw in her enclosure, and that will warm the mouse back up. That way she thinks it's still alive. And what she'll start by doing is she'll strike at the mouse and she'll grab it, and then she'll actually coil around it a little bit and hold it and try killing it. Of course, we know it's already dead, but she doesn't know that.
And why do we keep it already dead before we feed it to her?
Well, it's better for both her and the mouse. First, it would be kind of scary being eaten by a snake for the mouse. And for the snake, she doesn't have to go around finding the mouse, and it's a lot easier for her to catch it.
Mice can bite snakes if you leave them alive in there. If the snake does a poor job of killing it or doesn't get a good grab on the first time, they've actually seen, I mean, snakes will die because mice will just eat holes in them.
Yes. And then so after she thinks the mouse is dead, she will start eating it. So it's not like she takes chunks out of it. She'll swallow it whole. And she should technically swallow it from the nose down to the tail. And it'll go in as a full mouse. And it's kind of a slow process because she's swallowing it very slowly. And it will go all the way down and through to her stomach. And then she'll digest it there. And while she's digesting it, it's a very vulnerable time for the snakes. So that's why we leave her alone for 24 hours after she has fully eaten the snake. Or fully eaten the mouse, sorry.
They can eat other snakes, but we don't feed her snakes.
Yes.
Yeah, and you can actually see a little bit of the mouse in there once she started to digest, and you can follow it through her digestive system. Yeah. It's very cool. Especially if you feed her something that's a little bit on the larger side of things, which I think we have a slightly smaller mouse today. But when it's a slightly larger mouse, you can really see a giant bulge in her belly when she has swallowed it. And maybe we'll do a little video on that later on and show you some, follow it through the digestive system. There's some really cool things to see there. But otherwise, we're going to throw her back, and then in a few hours, we're going to be feeding her. We like to not handle her too close before or after, like Kylie said. She eats. So we're going to put her away for a few hours so that she feels nice and comfortable, and then offer her some food this evening for you guys to watch. We hope you enjoyed watching our video. I know Phoebe did. She loves to eat.
Like and subscribe and share this video with your friends.
Bye!